All right, good morning and welcome to a very interesting episode of your show on Cool TV, channel 196. This is Crossfire. My name is Dapo Banjo and I have with me on the show, as usual, my co-anchor, Ishioma Agha-Ineh.
Good morning, Andrew.
Ishioma, how was your weekend?
It is short.
Very short. For busy people, weekend is always a very short, very short time. All right, this morning we will be taking you through the content of our show today, and it promised to be a very interesting one. We'll be taking it easy as we have a lot of important information to get across to Nigerians as we approach the elections come March the 28th and April the 11th, when the presidential and the gubernatorial and the House of Assembly elections will be taking place respectively. Our show's content is so rich as it will provide a lot of education to our viewers and our listeners, and we have good news and we have bad news, and then we have controversial issues. When I say bad news, I don't really mean, bad. I just simply means those information that are not so good, to the ears. All right, every baby develops a little differently, even in the womb. Now, this information is designed to give a general idea of how babies develop in the first 6 weeks in their mother's womb. I'm very sure the moment you hear 6 weeks, you already have an idea of what I'm talking about.
No, actually, some people will be confused. As soon as you go on mother's womb.
Okay, now the mouth, the nose, and the ears that you will spend so much time kissing in 8 months are beginning to take shape. If you could see into your uterus, you'll find an oversized, hard and dark spots where your baby's eyes and nostrils are starting from. Its emerging ears are marked by small depression on the side of the head. Its arms and legs by protruding buds. Its heart is breathing about 100 to 160 times a minute, almost twice as fast as yours. And blood is beginning to move through his body. His intestines are developing, and the board of tissue that will give rise to his lungs have appeared. His pituitary gland is forming, as hard the rest of his brain, muscles and bones. Now, this morning, we'll be taking you through what I will call the most interesting 6 weeks in the history of Nigeria. I mean, this happens to be, the 6 weeks of the postponement of the elections from February 14th, and February to 28th to March and April the 11th. For the elections. Now, Nigerians want to know, what are the features? What are the things? What are the things characterizing the 6 weeks, postponement of the elections? I mean, I'm very sure, Nigerians have a lot of expectations, and some of these things we start back and we're trying to put it together. What are the things Nigerians are expecting should happen in 6 weeks before the elections, or by the time we're approaching, we're approaching the polls? And that was why, it sounds more like our show today is bordering about medicals, talking about a child in the womb of his mother. But you can see a lot of details in in the short, information we passed across. The nose, the ears, the mouth, the heart, everything about a child is beginning to take shape in 6 weeks. And that is, our expectation that things will fall into place in 6 weeks, so that everything that we need to do by the time of the elections are already in place. Ishioma, you may want to just take, the first thing, that we have to treat today.
I know one of the things Nigerians expect, should happen before this elapse of the 6 weeks is that Boko Haram insurgency will be crushed.
Wow.
Hard as it sounds, but the truth is a lot of Nigerians expect that, particularly our brothers and sisters who reside in the northeast. It's their expectation that Boko Haram insurgency will be totally stopped. Now, if you recall also the video which Shekau made available to the public, where he said they would disrupt the peacefulness of the elections. But now, I overheard some people, the other day in public, and they were talking about, trying to analyze the video, the content, and what he meant. And some people are also scared now, looking away from insurgency now, because we know insecurity is not limited to the insurgents alone. We've seen situations where some individuals, who believe in clamoring for the agitations in the Malcolm X way, if you understand what I mean, would also want to use violence as a means to getting their aspirations or whatever it is they want to be heard by the government. But then we also know that violence is never the way. Insurgency is on one side, but look at the southern Nigeria also. You also have pocket militias here and there who may want to interrupt the peacefulness of the elections. So in as much as government, we're hoping that as much as the government, they're looking also to stopping the Boko Haram insurgency, we're also hoping that our security agents will be on top of their duties to make sure that we have relative peace also in the south.
Anyway, I mean, if you ask me, Ishioma, I actually feel very strong about, a couple of things that I have observed, since the postponement of the elections. Now, I observed one that the activities of the Boko Haram has taken a new dimension. Now, they are more fierce, and they are doing everything to ensure that the threat, because they see the 6 weeks, postponement, and one of the things that the postponement or the element of the postponement was insecurity, and the service chiefs came out to say that within this 6 weeks of postponement, we will crush, Boko Haram. And they stepped up their game. They've been all around, doing, what they are best known to do. They've been bombings, they've been killings, they've been bombings, they've been killings, and they have re-strategized. Even though over the weekend, a lot of things happened, and that was why I was saying the bad news and the good news. We heard that the city of Baga, has been recaptured, and that, the federal, our military agents caught up with, a particular, location where they have batches of arms and ammunition that belongs to the, to the insurgency. But yet, we have a 7-year-old girl who strolled into a marketplace and bombed herself, killing 5 people, about 19,
five
injured.
Died and 19 injured thereabout.
Exactly.
But I also recall that yesterday night, I was going through the news, basically news headlines, and then I saw a group, I read about a group which came out to also call on our security chiefs, and they were asking them that, look, each time you tell us you did this, our military have done this, our military have done that. But then we've seen that the attacks of these insurgents has grown. So how true is your claim that you guys are on top of your game too? So why don't you give Nigerians proof? They're actually calling on our security chiefs to give Nigerians proof that, yes, the military are actually winning the war.
Now, as a matter of fact, especially... And I think
that will go a long way.
I agree with you. I agree with you, but to an extent. I have come to realize that when insurgency is being fought in a particular nation, especially when it's not coming from outside, it's not like an Al-Qaeda or an ISIS going into Iraq, or an Al-Qaeda bombing or attacking America. We're talking about a self-developed insurgents, the type like Boko Haram. Now, the challenge there is that there's this military term that I love to play with, oftentimes, and that is collateral damage. Now, when the country comes up to give us details and information, or probably news or footages that is showing the activities and what they have been able to do, there's every possibility that innocent Nigerians in the process have been killed. And so you need to be careful about the kind of information you make available to people, because in the process of fighting, Boko Haram, the possibility that we have a couple of innocent citizens who are going about their daily business actually, dying in the process. And let me quickly say this, it is worthy to note that the efforts of the Allied, the coalition, the Allied forces that we have been able to put in place for, that has just been put in place after the postponement. We had Chad, we have Niger Republic, and we have Cameroon forming, an alliance with Nigeria to fight the insurgency. And at the same time, France over the weekend promised Nigeria that, don't worry, we're going to give you all the necessary intelligence and information that you need to actually fight there. And don't forget that, the reason why France is coming into this very strongly is because Chad is actually affected. Yeah. And, they have promised their forces and everything that they have in terms of power to be able to defend the cause of Chad. that the insurgency does not in any way either being chased into Chad or overcoming Chad, in the process of time. So all of these things is pointing to the fact that, you see, the activities of the Boko Haram in the last 6 weeks, we really don't have so much difference from what has happened. In as much as our military are coming out to tell us we have done so well, we have also seen a counter activity of the Boko Haram almost, at par with as much, as our military has done. So what we have right now is a 1-1, draw, as it were. We haven't seen so much done by the military in compared to the havoc that the insurgency are actually, wrecking at the same time.
Particularly, Nigerians are also afraid that because if you study the trail, particularly in recent times, they've been moving downward the map. So Nigerians are also scared that what if they also move downward towards the southern Nigeria or towards the middle belt, for example, and then into the southern Nigeria also, because people also want to believe that will be possible. But we're hoping.
I want to sincerely believe, Ishioma, that one of the strategy that the country has actually adopted in fighting the insurgents, or the activity, of Boko Haram is to make sure that we don't have a widespread. I mean, information from Friday into Saturday, even up to yesterday, have it that they have started running, and the chances of them, running
based on media reports.
Exactly, based on media reports.
But how true?
No, but the truth is, how would you even know do you know what they're doing in Baga at the moment? They are trying to even know if the people that are left in Baga are free citizens or occupants or citizens. There's a word in my head I couldn't bring out, but I mean that Nigerians? Are they actually? They want to confirm if they are residents of Baga. Do you understand? Not insurgents. And there's every possibility that we can have a mix of both.
Of course.
If a 7-year-old, was sat down somewhere, wired completely, and was instructed to go into the market, and this is what you're going to do, this is what you're going to do, it shows the oratory power of the, of the Boko Haram sect. How much of information they have succeeded in giving to young people, and they go out there and carry out exactly what the activities,
without any fear.
Without any fear. Nigerians have become, you see, if you look at the activities of the Boko Haram, it's pointing to the fact that Nigerians, we have lost our sense of humanity, because we become so inhuman. Before lives, and property, my neighbor is my neighbor and my brother's keeper, but that is not the situation, that we are. Now, still on Boko Haram, and while we go to some other things, how sure are we that government is actually putting all machinery in place to crush the insurgency before the elections?
Well, like the president said during the media chat that even if Boko Haram will not be crushed completely, but the activities of the insurgents will be brought
tremendously curbed.
So let's hope. The only thing we can do right now is to keep our fingers crossed and hope that will be the case.
Anyway, it's almost 2 weeks of the 6 weeks postponement into the elections in 2015, and we don't have anything so clear pointing to the fact that the activities of Boko Haram has completely been curbed off or halfly curbed or whatever, term or terminology you want to adopt to describe. In as much as we have information that the military are advancing and they are making progress in curbing the activities of Boko Haram, we still are not sure because we have a lot of other, havoc that the insurgents are actually wrecking, everywhere, they are present. Now, we may need to just go to the next point. We cannot overemphasize the activities of the Boko Haram. And so on the show, we will always have to bring you updates and reports of how far our military are faring against the insurgency. Now, the second one is we have believed that the postponement of the election will eventually give back to all registered voters collecting or having PVC. Or possessing, their PVCs. But the situation, over the weekend was that we have just from 72.3% that INEC released 2 weeks ago, this last week, we have it increased to just 73%. Yeah. That is to tell you that a lot of people are not going out. Do you know, yesterday it was recorded that Abuja residents are actually not going out to pick up their PVCs. And then you wonder, Residents in Abuja are not going out to pick
I know
PVCs.
in as much as the people of Nigeria, because this is what basically we've been hearing, that they've lost so much faith already in the system and in the structure. But I think that's not enough reason for you not to go out to pick up PVC. I mean, if you've lost so much faith in what's on ground currently, how then can you be part of whatever change it is you want? The only way you can do that is definitely not by violence. It can only be by you picking up a PVC.
You know, we said a couple of things, you know, I mean, just brainstorming and feeling that there is a better way that INEC could actually use to ensure, like house-to-house distribution, or like company to company.
It's not possible.
I mean, why not? You see, what I'm even saying about company to company could be that, okay, if we have a lot of people who registered in VI and they registered on Ajose Adeogun, you can go by address and say, okay, we have 25 PVC cards and this is the address, you know, that they use in registering. Are they here?
Well, that would not be 100% possible. For security reasons, one, also, because that will mean you exposing your ad hoc staffs to all sorts of security issues. Because someone insane could come out and say, okay, put a gun to their head and give me all the PVCs you have on you.
Yeah, but that can still happen wherever they are seated.
No, but then, of course, they will have,
wherever they are seated.
It will be difficult to have that because now you have people around. Also, the presence
people
of
will always be around, even when they go street by street.
No, this will be different because there are some streets that are basically lonely. There are some buildings that are not properly numbered. You could see number 1 here, and then you have to walk down to see number 2. Of course, it happens in Nigeria also. Also, look at the ecological factors also. Weather also. I mean, look, it rained in some parts of Lagos today. So imagine when with the rain and all of that, they're doing all of that's not possible. Anyway,
don't forget, I mean, in addition to that, we have just a slight difference in the percentage of people who have collected their PVCs since INEC came up to say that we have PVCs to be collected. And don't forget, another issue that came up about PVC is that 1 million PVCs are yet to be printed. INEC over the weekend never came up with any update to telling us that, okay, the PVCs are now printed, they are in the country, and owners can start, looking for a way to get them collected. Even though I have my
bias on why we're still printing PVCs outside the country. We're giving more revenue generation to these foreign nations, more job opportunities.
Anyway, that's looking at the business aspect of it.
That is one of my bias also.
The logistics.
Yeah, but then I think you have some form of information to give to Nigerians on how to locate their PVC.
Now, I mean, we're very glad to let you know that INEC came up with a technology base, of how you can get your PVC, or how, breaking it down into a simple and a very easy way to locate and pick up your PVC. We will look for a way to put this on the screen, but if we cannot, we will still go through it. And
I hope you have your pen, so you can write it down
and
easily.
You need to write. So we'd like you to just get ready as we give you the step by step of how to locate and pick up your TVC, and that will mean having to use your mobile telephone to get this done. We're going to go on a short break now, and then we'll come back. We will bring all this information very close to your doorstep.
But I hope you can quickly pick up your pen and paper so you write it down.
Don't go away. All right, good morning once again. This is Crossfire, and we'll be taking you through the most interesting 6 weeks in Nigeria. And that is 6 weeks of INEC, declaring the postponement of the 2015 elections from February the 14th and the 28th to March the 28th and April the 11th, respectively. We're hoping that all the trappings that we have is pointing to the fact that we're going to have a free, fair, and credible elections come, this new date. Now, this 6 weeks counted so dearly in the minds of Nigerians, and we are hoping that all the reasons that INEC and the security chiefs have been able to give us why we need to postpone the elections are actually captured, and they're working on them to ensure that everything works out well. We took, I mean, before we went on the short break, we talked very extensively about the activities of the Boko Haram and the activities or the counter activity of the Nigerian military and even the coalition, the allied forces put together by our neighboring countries. And we haven't really particularly seen so much. I mean, like Ishioma said, maybe they are not giving us enough information, but notwithstanding, we'll stay very close to information and bring it to you. And then we went to talking about the collection of the PVCs. That was one major reason why elections have been postponed. And data coming across to us have it that we have just 73% of eligible voters who have been able to pick up their PVC. And so we discussed, you know, talking about 1 million PVCs yet to be printed, and people are waiting. They're waiting for it. Now, let's quickly talk about this before we go to the technology based of how to easily locate and pick up your, your PVCs. Now, the latest date for pickup has not changed. It's still the 8th of, it's still the 8th of March, 2015. So it is expected that latest. I mean, that by that time, do you think, Ishioma, very simple question, we have 1 million PVCs
yet to be
being printed and brought back into the country and then distributed to all 37 states, including the federal capital, and all of that. And then do you think we have enough time for people to be able to pick up their PVCs by March? I mean, people who have theirs have not been able to locate it or pick it up.
I fear. I mean, I fear if
that means there's every possibility at least 800 people, between 800 to 1 million Nigerians are
Today's the 23rd, right? Today's the 23rd. Okay, and then we have how many days more?
We have 2 weeks more. 2 weeks.
To the end of this week. Sorry, to the end of this month. And now March 8th. I mean, let's be honest. I doubt if the rest 1 million people or thereabouts will be able to pick up.
Anyway, Professor Atairu Jeka ensured and assured Nigerians that these cards will be ready and they will be distributed, and hopefully people who owns these PVC cards will be able to pick them up as planned so that they can perform their civic responsibility come the new dates of elections. And then finally, before we tell you the easy way to locate and pick up your voters, your PVC, we quickly talk about this one. Card readers will be used for voters verification and accreditation.
I saw in the news yesterday about 20,000 card readers were to be purchased also. In addition to the
180,000 that was, because the last information we have about the card reader was that INEC actually bought 180,000 of the card readers, and as at the time he visited the Senate, he was telling the Senate that only 503 pieces of the card readers have broken down or failed, So, I mean, compared to 180,000, the percentage failure is very minimal. And he said that they are backup card readers in case anything goes. And we told you about the features of the card readers, that they're actually battery powered, and that the card readers can last for about 14 hours, 14 hours for the accreditation and all the process of the elections. And so the card readers will be used. We have that assurance. There's no going back on the use of the card readers.
I know a lot of Nigerians want the card reader to be used because based on what we've seen so far about the card readers, I mean, there's every possibility that if all things being fair and equal with the use of these card readers, we should have to a very large extent free and fair elections.
Okay.
But I have this fear. I mean, look, because amongst the 73% of PVCs which have been collected also, I want to strongly believe, because each time we tune into our news, we hear of PVCs being snatched here and there. So my fear is, what if this negative element who have gone ahead in snatching and stealing people's PVCs, what if they go ahead and begin to steal and snatch card readers?
Anyway, for me,
what if that happens?
The beauty of the card reader is that for the very first time in the history of Nigerian politics, it's going to help us to really identify that the person who is actually voting is the real person who was registered, unlike before. So is the card reader going to also take your picture identification to compare with what you have on your card? Exactly.
Oh, really?
There's going to be a clear confirmation of the person who is carrying the PVC and what they have on the machine. So if the machine does not see or cannot match all the information that have been provided on the card reader, the person would automatically be either arrested, handed over to the police, because that could be, that's a very, very fraudulent, activity.
Well, let's hope those individuals who have made it their job to snatch PVCs, let's hope they will not think of some other illegal means or illegal way to also multiple thumbprints without the use of the card reader.
All right. Don't forget that on Crossfire, this is your show. This is every little thing that we do on the show is because of you. It's just to get you really, really very prepared for the elections and then to know the goings on in our immediate society, as long as it has to do with government reformation plan or program, policy formation, and exactly, all the decisions that government may take that will affect you, either in a federal, level, or your state level, or in your local government that is very close to where you live. Now, you can send information to us, via our email address. You can also follow us. All the follow, the follow platform. We also have all the follow platforms. Yeah. You can follow us on Twitter. You can follow us on Instagram, but you can Facebook. Actually like us on Facebook. Yeah. All this information will be on the screen, and you can just take advantage of them and reach out to us as soon as possible. Anyway, our phone lines will be open any moment from now. And don't forget, we made it a lot easier for you. You can use our toll-free phone lines. 08000 Cool TV is the number. So dial and let us know your thoughts about the six wonderful weeks, that is counting in the history of Nigerian politics. And this has to do with the life that we're going to live after these 6 weeks. This 6 weeks is very... years. Believe you me, it's an attention-based, attention-grabbing 6 weeks. It is an exciting 6 weeks. It is a remarkable 6 weeks. It is an out, of the ordinary 6 weeks. And we pray that it does not become the most controversial 6 weeks in the history of this country. And that's why on this show, it's about peace. It's about shunning violence. It's about you going out there and peacefully, exercising your civic right and voting for your candidate of choice. Now, let's move on here. Now, let's quickly go to how to easily locate and pick up your voter's card. This has been revealed by INEC, and this cuts across every state of the Federation. Now, let's take you through the step-by-step way of getting this done, and then I will hand that over to Ishioma, and then I will just support where necessary. Okay,
so the first thing you do is type the states where you registered. If you registered in Lagos State, you just type Lagos State. If you registered...
No, you type Lagos. You type just Lagos.
Just type Lagos. Or if you register Borno, you type Borno. But
if it's Ogun, just type Ogun.
Type the state where you registered. And then you keep the space button. Well, let's say you registered in Lagos. So you type Lagos, space, then you type your son name as it is on your temporary voter's card. Even if your name is XYZ and on your TVC it is YXZ, type it as it is on your TVC. Exactly as it is on your TVC. And then you leave another space, and then you type the last digit of your VIN number. Your VIN number is the voter's identification number. You see there on your TVC, VIN. Then you type the last 4 digits of the number, and then you send all these informations to 20120. You send these informations to 20120, and then you definitely get feedback response. And then one of the responses you would get will be it will tell you if you've registered or not, and it will also tell you where you registered, that is the state you registered and the ward you registered. And it will also tell you the status of your PVC, if it is ready or if it's not ready. And then it will also tell you the current location of your PVC. Now that will enable you to go out and pick up your PVC.
This
easy.
This to me is very fantastic.
And actually, and it's free.
And it's free.
This
across
SMS, it's
all
free
the mobile
across all
platforms.
mobile platforms. So it's free. So do not be scared that, oh, they will charge me this or I don't have airtime. No, it's going to be free. So please, we hope Nigerians will take advantage
All
of
right,
this.
do it right away. If you fall into the category of the people who have not picked up their PVCs and you need not to be disenfranchised, this is the opportunity that you have been waiting for. INEC has made life easy for the pickup of the PVC.
Thanks
they came
to
up with,
technology.
Thanks to technology. And so don't forget, the process is very simple. Send an SMS to 20120. 20120 and type in the following information. The state, if it is Lagos or Ogun or Abuja or Kano, just type the state wherein you have registered and then space follow. I mean, that follows, after the space, type your surname as it is written on your TVC. Very, very important. And then you leave another space and then you put the last digits of your VIN number. The last digit of your VIN number, your voter's identification number is written there on your TVC. So just put it there and then you send all of this information once again to 20120 and that is on Glow, on all the platforms, on MTN, on Glow and all that, without having to sound like we're advertising them, but this is just an INEC information. So, if you have a Glow number, an Airtel number, an MTN number, and a Etisalat number, please go ahead. All mobile platforms, are available, for you to be able to do all of this. For me, Ishioma, I think, that's beautiful. If it works, if this works, then you have made life a lot easier for people to be able to pick up, their PVC. Let's quickly go to the next thing. Don't forget our phone lines are open. If you want us to know anything you think should be achieved in the next 6 weeks, it's not about 6 weeks now.
No,
we have 5 weeks. From today, we have 5 weeks. Yeah? Really? Yeah, we have 5 weeks. Oh, okay. Yeah, from today we have 5 weeks. 1 week is already gone. And so we have 5 weeks to the elections. So what we're saying in essence is that let's do everything that we can to ensure that this election is free, fair, and is credible. So let's go to the next thing that we need to talk about. Security of electorate must be guaranteed by service chiefs and the sitting government. Government need to ensure that we can go out there and that it is safe for us to vote. A lot of people are already, personally disenfranchising themselves. I heard a woman, in a church where I attend, and she was saying it very categorically. He said, something is telling me it may not be safe for people to come out and vote. But the truth is, in as much as we're clamoring and appealing to our security chiefs and police commissioners to help provide adequate security for the people, but the truth is, at the end of the day, a large burden of the security state, wherever it is you're located, that it also rests on you, because we hope Nigerians can be so vigilant and careful. Understand your environment. It doesn't cost anything if you're aware of the kind of people who live in your environment. And if you see strange faces, you see people looking dangerous, please, there are numbers where you can always get across to the police. You can also alert them early that, look, I've been seeing strange faces, I've been seeing strange individuals, particularly reckless youth and touts in my neighborhood. Please, there's an emergency. Calm down. I'm even saying that, you need to be your brother's keeper. Of course. Your neighbor's son may just be involved, in one way or the other. Or your own son or daughter. And it may even be your younger brother, your elder, your elder brother. All you need to do is to report to the security agents. True. There is a police post very close to wherever you live. And so we're using this platform again. Be your brother's keeper. If you see any group of people or an individual championing the cause of violence towards the elections, it is expected that you and I, we ensure that this does not happen. Believe you me, if you don't do anything about it, the situation may do something about you. Because you may not even know who the victim is going to be. Very true. You may not even know who the victim is going to be. So that's why we're using this platform to say, is there, has the government done all that they need to do? Or we have the next 5 weeks for government to put all the necessary things in place? And that's why we're asking this question. What is the update from the Nigerian police? The Nigerian police, are they training these officers? Are they getting them educated? Are they making them realize that they cannot afford to be partisan? That they cannot afford, they need to stay neutral. I understand. A police friend of mine was telling me, he said, telling a police officer to stay neutral is disenfranchisement. That is very, very disenfranchising. No,
based on what he'll
no, you are just simply saying that he's not a citizen of this country because he's not deciding.
But
he's not taking a decision. He does not even have a right to be able to influence the government that is going to come into power that will favor his own cause too. You are sending them all out there to go and provide security for lives and property, and you are telling them they cannot afford to be partisan. They have parties they belong to. They are individuals that they prefer in the for elections.
Well, we believe they can't keep that to themselves and not come all out to begin to use.
I know that they have a right to vote. We are not saying that the security agents will not vote. They will vote. But what we're saying is that do not support a particular party at the expense of others during the election.
Yes.
You cannot afford to go out there and be telling people vote for APC, vote for PDP, vote for NCR, vote for Hope Party. You cannot afford to do that. Go vote for COA. So you cannot afford to do that. You have to stay neutral. Let people go to the pool and perform their.
All right. So then we'll take this call. Robinson is calling us from Ojo. Good morning, Robinson.
Yeah. Good morning, madam.
Good morning, Robinson. How are you doing?
I'm fine.
Go ahead and make
your
point.
People, so much for what you are doing.
Thank you so much.
Actually, I voted in 2011.
Okay.
Yeah, but this time around, I went there, even during when they started the exercise.
Yeah.
They said we should come to the Ojo local government because I live at Tendi town opposite Ojo Barracks.
Ojo Barracks, sir.
So yes, that was where I registered at the cross of the road towards the army barracks.
Okay.
And that was where I voted in 2011.
Okay.
But I was surprised. I went there. They say it was not there. We should come to Ojo local government. I've been to Ojo local government 3 times.
Are you sure
so
it's Ojo local government you should go to or Oriade local government?
No. Yeah, I went to Oriade first. They say it's Ojo that I was in Ojo.
Okay.
So I went to Ojo local government.
Okay.
They checked it. They gave me, like what you said before, to test this number, test and test. At the end of the day, they said my name is not in the register. That I said, okay, what am I going to do? They said we are falling among people that will register again. That we re-register again.
All right, can I ask you a question, Robinson?
2011.
Hello, Robinson. Can I quickly ask you a question?
Yeah.
All right. Did you use the mobile platform?
Yeah, he said he did. They gave me the information.
And he said you are not registered.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So, but was your name found? Was any information about you found in their register?
No, they didn't tell me anything about that.
Okay, we're going to do our investigation, and we will come back to you on this platform to let you know that for some people, when they're having these challenges, what could it mean?
Yes.
Now, we will talk to the resident electoral commissioner who can make information available to us that if you get this response, this is what it means. If you get this response, this is what it means. So we will come back to you, on this show. Just follow us, and then we will make clarity on some of this information. Let's quickly go through how you are expected to use the mobile platform. Get your phone, no matter what the network is, type the state where you register, space your surname, space space the last digit on your, on your VIN number on your TVC. Your VIN number has, your TVC has what we call your VIN number, VIN number, which means your voter's identification number. The last digit, you type it. So you do Lagos space Agbabiaka space 8, and then you send it to 20120. 20120. It is free across every mobile platform.
Yeah, so we have a call. Usman is calling us from Kwara State. Good morning, Usman.
Hello, good morning, sir.
Hi,
good morning, Usman.
And good morning, Mr. Bam.
Thank you.
How are you doing? Go ahead and make your points, please.
Fine, and you. I just did the INEC whatever now with the SMS.
Yeah.
The SMS. So I was being charged 10 naira, but I didn't care about that. So I have been directed that my PVC is ready. Though I'm in Kwara State now, I'm schooling in Kwara State. So
Okay, did you use the mobile platform, Usman?
Yes, I just did it now.
Okay, and it worked?
Yes, it worked perfectly.
Okay, good.
So are you with me?
Yes, we can hear you.
All right. My comment on the issue we are treating this morning is about the military stuff.
Yeah.
So the problem we are having in this country, I don't know, maybe the military, whatever, they are not well trained or well oriented.
Okay.
As at last week or last 2 weeks, I read a premium news online, which I confirmed from a friend of mine, Bauchi, that the army checkpoint, soldier checkpoint, was bombed, of which I did not see it anywhere online, of which I called a friend of mine, which he told me it was. Yeah. So now, the problem we're having, we concentrated too much on one side of the problem, and whereby we ignore other strategic points. So look at, when you go to Abuja now, you will see soldier point, military points, disturbing people from going to work for more than. What if these people come to that particular spot to do their stupid habit? What will happen? So that's my, thank you very much.
All right, thank you very much.
Thank you, Usman.
Anyway, we're coming back, tomorrow to finish what we have started today. We have a lot of expectation and things that the government has promised us that will be done in the next 6 weeks before the elections. Thank you so very much, everybody, for being a part of our show today. It's been a very interesting one. We had fun, and we believe that you have fun too. Join us tomorrow morning for another very beautiful edition of your show, Crossfire, and you will have with me Dapo Banjo and Ishioma Agha-Ineh. Stay out of trouble.
Say no to violence and do not drink and drive. God bless you.
Stay out of trouble.